Aiden Hutchinson just walked in with him, and Jenna said, look how big that guy is. I'm like, I just walked over to him. Aiden? He's like, yes, sir. I was like, I made your thigh pads. He goes, oh, the 9.7. I love it, man.
Yeah.
And I loved it because he said, you sent me a note. I try to send guys a note and things like that. He said, you sent me a note. He goes, I really appreciate that. Well, that's what I really like. I really like the fact that the players are responsive and they like it. So.
What it do? It's your boy Brock, and this is the broadcast. I'm joined with my co-host with the most, Mr. Petty Pat. Talk to him.
Yo, what's good, everybody? How y'all doing? It's your boy Petty Pat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today we're joined by a special guest. I want to say he's a good friend of mine. I didn't meet him personally until today, but we've texted plenty of times when I was a captain at the Rams and in Detroit. This man right here and his family helped me complete my captain duties. Like, as a captain, I felt like if I was voted captain, I had to do something for the guys. They voted me captain, I had to do something for the guys. So my presence every year was your young guys like these thigh pads that had their numbers on them. It made everybody have their own identity. And I was like, man, these thigh pads are dope. Like, who does these thigh pads? I found the company who does the thigh pads, and I DM the guy, or I DM the company, and my man, Mr. Brian Gudalis, is here today with us. Man, I just want to, just say thank you so much for joining this podcast. Before you get started, what you brought us today, it really blew my mind. He brought this Brock blocks right here with a collab with Tredcal pads and his company. He got my son some pads, and I just want to tell you thank you, man. That really meant a lot.
I appreciate you. Listen, I do remember the first time you DM'd me, and I was just, it's one of those times you're sitting on the couch with your kids, and you're like, what are you doing, Dad? I'm like, I'm just DMing Michael Brockers. That's all I'm doing right now. So it's a big deal in my family.
Yes, man. Yes, man. I was just so amazed that when I first seen him, I think you were speaking on it. It was Saquon Barkley,
yes,
and that was the first time I seen it.
And the Rose Bowl game when they played against USC, that was a hell of a game. And Saquon had the 26 thigh pads.
He went off that game.
How did that start? Let's speak on the first time I seen that. You probably would do him earlier than that, but that was the first time I seen him. Let's speak on that. How did that happen?
So the idea came to me back when I was a middle school football coach back in Murray, Kentucky, back in the late '90s. And then I was in a kindergarten gym teacher is what I was. And just like every kindergarten gym teacher, I decided to go back to law school. And so,
law school,
so I went back to law school, and then I was an attorney for 10 years. And I got sick of billing the hours and all that, and I thought, I had this idea 10 years ago about these 3 lines on the thigh pad. They always pop through. Everybody saw the 3 lines, and I never really wondered why. Well, figured out that you don't really need them anymore because there was stability back in the day. Now we make plastic strong enough. So I thought, I'm going to try to figure out a way to change the shape of those 3 lines into a player's number, into a player logo, into a team logo. And so I got went to Michael's and bought some foam, and I cut out an Alabama A. It's the first one I cut out, and I sent it to a buddy of mine, and so Kentucky got on board after that. And that was the first time we started in 2013. But we have all kinds of pictures. The very first one was a little cookie-shaped football that I did. Put it on my son's skinny legs, and it popped really well. So that's kind of how it all started. But it was really difficult to get to where we are now. It just took a long process. But to get to where Saquon was, we would just randomly reach out to equipment managers and to college programs and things like that and say, hey, we have this idea, you want to try it? And out of the blue, I'd sit there all day long at my office and just send them random emails. And trying to explain the product was really difficult, but when I show them a picture of it, like, okay. So Michigan State jumped on board. They had that great run back in 2013, that era where they went to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, you know what? They did used to wear the Spartan thigh pads.
Yes. So that was a big deal. Penn State jumped on board. Now, gradually we get team after team. Well, the best thing was those guys graduated.
Right.
And they went to the NFL.
Right.
And when they went to the NFL, they remember what they got in college.
Yeah, bro, I want them pads here.
That's exactly what happened. That's what happened with Saquon.
And what's so crazy about that, what made it so synonymous with Saquon is he was wearing white. He had white pants, and when his pants got dirty, that 2-6 in that Penn State, that nitty line, it popped through the pants so much. And I was like, that literally was all over the internet after that game. It was pictures of his thigh pads all over the internet.
But it's funny, but they don't tag us in it. So you know,
Yeah.
so you
Right,
think,
right.
you have this idea. You got a great college football player wearing it, and you're just going to take off.
I don't think people knew what. I don't think people really didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't know, and so, but you know, you talk about the white pants. You know, our limitation has been the black pants because it doesn't work as well. The cross works really well. That works out under anything. But you know, when you were at the Rams,
yes,
those yellow pants,
yes,
they were ridiculous.
Then they get wet, and then you
really
see
look wet.
Yeah, when the pants get wet, they damn near
I pray for rain during the games. And I hope there's a lot of rain.
Rain or snow.
Yes.
So
players
talk to us
hate
as the business, like you're sending these emails, like what was your dream? Like you went back to law school. I'm thinking like, okay, you're a lawyer now. Like what made you want to do thigh pads?
You know, it's funny because when I saw it, when I had the idea and I thought this would probably work, but then when I cut the first one out and put it under the pants, I was like, that really works.
Yeah.
And then Nike's pants are great. They're great. The material they're made of, and we do ours with the way it gives it a shadow effect. The material those Nike pants are made of makes it pop that much more. And so in real life, it looked great. That's why when we did the Kyler Murray, so I'm just seeing his or not.
He did the Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Yes,
he did Bruce
that
Lee.
was pretty dope.
ESPN saw that, and from there is when it really kind of started to take off, sales-wise. And but that was, we were able to do a lot of things under the white, and so because we were able to do that, we came up with some really cool designs. And you know, you guys, like your Brock logo we did.
Yes.
And we'll have guys send us their logo, and so we'll do that. And then we'd come up with some designs. Like Kyler just texted me and said, hey, can you do something Bruce Lee? And so we just looked into it and played with his a little bit. So we kind of do it both ways. We have the guys send it to us, their logo, and then we'll make some up for some guys too.
What else?
I just wanted to ask you, because it's a little personal. Like, so tell us about your texting. You said you're texting me. You're texting Saquon. Like, what was that like? Texting your first athlete
to get a
Like,
response.
I'll
tell you what's funny about it is the ideas we come up with, and I come up with 99% of them. My wife actually comes up with some really good ideas.
Okay. Shout out to wife.
And Jenna, yes. And so she'll shoot me an idea. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. She came up with the cross. She was like, you need to sell the cross. We sell 2 out of every 3 sales we have is the cross.
Right.
So what we did is we have now different versions of the cross, things like that. So and to go back to your question about what's it like. I have to remember that I'm 50 years old, right? And I got a 20-year-old texting me who's my son's age. And my son, God bless him, but he ain't the smartest, you know what I mean? He's got a lot to learn.
Your son gonna beat you up when he sees you.
Yes, he will. He's big now. Yeah, he's about 205, and he says he can take me, but he can't. That's beside the point. But yeah, so you have to kind of keep it in perspective of the business side of it. But even walking around today, you're kind of starstruck by everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you gotta strike a balance of it. Having said that, it's awesome when someone
Yes. Right.
It just makes my night. Aiden Hutchinson just walked in with him, and Jenna said, "Look how big that guy is." I'm like, I just walked over to him. Aiden? He's like, "Yes, sir." I was like, "I made your thigh pads." He goes, "Oh, the 9.7. I love it, man."
Yeah.
And I loved it because he said, "You sent me a note." I try to send guys a note and things like that. He said, "You sent me a note." He goes, "I really appreciate that." Well, that's what I really like. I really like the fact that the players are responsive and they like it. So, but I do try not to get starstruck by it. But you can't help it.
Tell us about how you because I remember DMing you, and it was funny because I did this every year for like a good 4 or 5 years straight. And one year he was like, my daughter's wrapping up your stuff right now. I was like, what? Your daughter? Tell us about like how you got your family involved and how you built this with your family. And this is not a huge corporation that's supporting the NFL. This is out of your home. It feels like. With your kids and your family around you, and this is a small business. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I have 4 kids, and all my kids have a different duty when they're not in college. 2 of them are in college, and so, but when they're home, they have a different duty. So, for example, my senior in high school, he sprays the pads, which means the nice thing about our pads is if you like just the shell, which a lot of players like, right? Just the shell, no padding. We can just do that. But a lot of guys, they like padding too. So we can make the padding as thick as you want, as big as you want, all that stuff. Well, my senior in high school, his job is to spray the pads, the glue that puts them together. And it's a special glue that we use to make sure they don't come apart and all that stuff. So everybody in our family has their own thing. And right now, my daughter, Lauren, who just graduated from A&M, is working for us full time until she goes back and gets her master's. But she's kind of puts it all together for us. So she's right now doing our TikToks and things like that. And so everybody has her own duty. Now, having said that, we really do it out of the house. And we have an office. We're not huge. And there's a TikTok video she put out there yesterday that got 1 million views overnight, which is nice for us.
Right.
But the main comment is, this is no small business. Because she said, look at our small business then. And and you could tell it's like a 10-year-old or something going back and forth. But
Right.
He's like, this is no small business. It is. It's a small business. We just have some really big customers.
Right.
But it's a grind still. It's still a grind. You gotta go out and hustle every day, and you gotta have an honest product, and you gotta be honest about your product.
So have you made any collabs with anybody? Because I know you do a lot of business around the league. Like, have you partnered with any teams or anything like that?
So what happens is the equipment managers, they're the gatekeepers.
Okay.
So the equipment manager. So if you want to do something with the team, you go through the equipment managers. At the end of the day, certainly in the NFL, the players get to choose what they want when it comes to their package, right? So we have a lot of equipment managers who we stay in touch with, and they'll text us and stuff like that. For example, Brad Berlin down at the Bucks, he texted me while I was at a convention, and he said, hey, Baker wants some thigh pads. And so we went back and forth through the equipment manager for Baker.
Okay.
So we have that side of it too. At the college level, it's a little different because you look at the University of Florida, he just calls me up, and then the whole team wears them. Same with Arizona State. We have a lot of teams like that. So we have more teams than that do it at the college level. But at the pro level, it's more individual.
Kids take those photos, those recruiting photos with the thigh pads. They like seeing stuff like that, especially in college.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things we say is just put it on your swag table. Even if you don't want to buy for the whole team, put it on your swag table. And, for Penn State, we do we on the right leg, R on the left. It looks pretty cool when you put it on there.
That's crazy that did you even think, like, it was going to blow up like it did? Like, to think about, you go back to law school, you do this, and you're kind of doing this as a hobby. You go into Michael's to get the product, and now you have whole teams wearing your product. Did you ever dream of it getting to this point?
I didn't. Well, I didn't dream to get. I certainly didn't think I'd be in Super Bowl. Right? I didn't think Michael Brockers. Honestly, I didn't think he'd text me. I'm being serious. I didn't think players like you would text me. I really didn't. And so. That's the part that's surreal about. That's the part you're just like, this is nuts. This is crazy.
Yes.
And then when you factor in that the way we got here, because you're right, we got a piece of foam from Michaels, and then their foam comes in 12 by 12 squares. Well, we had to find a company who could make that in a bigger portion for us. So that took a year to find. Then we had to find an adhesive that would work. That took another year to find. It's taken us this long to kind of perfect it.
Yes.
Now we're at the point where we're starting to expand the product line, but the other thing we're able to do is expand the thigh pad line too, because we're coming up for a very small thigh pad for like a 5-year-old, but not only a 5-year-old. At the speedsters love really little thigh pads.
Right.
They give you no protection. But
Yeah,
that's just
I mean, because they want the lightest thing possible. These thigh pads make my 4.3 go to a 4.3.
I feel like that was one of that's one of the biggest factors in people loving those thigh pads is the size. Nobody wants to wear those 1980 thigh pads anymore, where they go from the top of your knee to the lower part of your hip. Nobody wants to wear that no more. And like we talked about earlier, the thigh pads. We used to take the plastic pieces out and put them on top so you can see the 3 lines. And now that people can get whatever they want. And I'm pretty sure that, like, you probably didn't think of it, but when I first saw it, I'm like, this is gonna go crazy.
And it's still building. We're still building it, and I'm very pleased with where we are. I really am. And we're at the point now where we're probably outgrowing, the living room.
Yes.
We still do. We literally. We got a video from like last year's Super Bowl putting them together, and we're just sitting in front of the television set. I think we're watching like Real Housewives or something like that.
That's what I find crazy is that you have all this product all over the world, all over the nation, and it's done out of your house. You know, and it's a family-oriented business, and I think that's amazing. That's really why I want you to come on, because I feel like you are a very influential part of football, now, everybody sees these numbers and it's become a common thing now, but when those pads get to those guys, or some of those young guys, can't afford to pay or don't think about it, and they get it as a gift, they're like, bro, this is dope. It makes them feel some type of way. Like, I got gratitude out of seeing them have that pad, and they be like, OG, appreciate you. And I was just like, man, that little gesture really made them boys go out there, and they felt like, okay, we go win. I'm swag. I'm swag. I look good. I got to play good. If I look good, I got to play good. So that your pads are a part of football, and I just feel like people should know your story. People should know about you, man. I really do.
I love it. You know, it's a funny story that you remind me of. When you ordered them when you were at the Rams, I had a rookie who reached out to me. You said, hey, I want to get them for the D-line guys, and then the second text came in and said, no, I'm the captain. I'm getting them for my defense. And I'm like, I love you, man. So, what's funny was as soon as you did that, maybe an hour later, one of the rookies reached out and said, hey, I'd like to get some custom thigh pads. So I texted him back and I said, Michael Brockers may or may not be ordering for the whole defense. You might want to wait.
I appreciate that because it meant something for me. Like I said before, me being the captain, giving something back to them, and I really appreciate you being so personable with me. And it makes the transition, the transaction, or whatever, more genuine, man. You're an authentic person. I'm glad I didn't run into a assistant or anything. I was like, man,
I'm
this
the
is the real.
Too.
No, when I found out, like you were the guy, I was like, so you make them? He was like, yeah. I'm like, so I'm not talking to a production guy or no, I'm the guy. I'm like, okay, this is dope. I'm talking to the head man. Okay, like how can we get this done? So, man, the fact that you're doing this, you're not really asking, begging for the attention and just seeing how your company is being blessed and it's growing, man. I'm so happy.
Now people have a face to the thigh pads.
There we go. This
is his first podcast.
So talk to us about the name. The name. Talk to us.
So the company name is actually called 3 Decals. So what we did when we started with just a decal. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about our pads is let's say you buy number 12 this year, and next year, you are number 3. You don't have to buy all new pads. It's a decal on the front that you rip off, and a new one goes on. So you buy a number 3 decal, and it goes on the front. So that's the way it works. So it was 3D decals, kind of the way we came with 3 decals. Well, when we went to trademark the name, we did the research on it, and there was a company, I believe, like out in California, that sold like naked hula dancers or something like that, and like literally. And we're like, I don't know if that's our company.
Right.
We don't
No, we don't want that.
Yeah. And so we had to come up with a different name.
Okay.
And so my wife and I are sitting on our couch just throwing out names, and she came up with Tredcal, which is Trey, and then the D, so you got 3D, and then the D separates with the cal too, so you got 3D decal. That's kind of the way it came up with. So it's Tredcal. Everyone calls it Trey Decal, Tredcal.
Yeah, that's what I've heard people say, Trey Decal. I'm like, I don't think that's what it's called.
I'm okay. Hey, listen, as long as you don't say something bad, I'm okay.
So give the people one more time. How do you say the company's name?
Tredcal.
Tredcal. So for everybody out there that wants the pads, find them it's Tredcal. Where can people find you?
Yeah, it's Tredcal.com, Tredcal.com. So we sell online. We don't do a lot of advertising. We might do a Instagram post or something like that. We kind of do it, but yeah, it's Tredcal.com. And if you just search in custom pads, custom thigh pads, we pop up all over people.
Right. And I think that's what's so amazing. You don't ask for, like I said, you don't ask for the publicity. Your product speaks for itself, and that's the same way we believe. I feel like, we're not big, but like once you get our shirts, once you get a hoodie or whatever, you feel like the quality is there. I paid for a shirt that I'm gonna wear for a long time, or I feel like this was worth it, So we appreciate your quality of your product. We appreciate you coming on the show. Man, just blessing us with some of your time. I know it's precious. You can't give it back. If there was any little advice for people starting their own business or anything like that, you got little words of advice for them?
Yeah, absolutely. If you believe in your idea, go through it. Go for it. And when you say go for it, that doesn't mean, it didn't work after a week.
Right.
It means you got to keep on going.
Right.
You got to keep on going because there were many times I got pictures years into it, 3 or 4 years into it, of my credit cards spread onto my desk, trying to figure out which one had money left to go out and buy product. We were that. I talked to a bankruptcy attorney. We were that. We were that into it. But we did pay for patents. We have 6 patents in Europe, and we have 2 in the United States. And our patents cover our shin guards in Europe and everything else. But that's why we did that, but it almost broke us.
Man, you're global now, man. You're talking about you're global now, man. That's awesome, bro. I appreciate you coming on. Pat, do you have anything for the people?
Guys, don't forget, go on Brock Brand Clothing. I keep saying Brock Brand Clothing.com.
That's okay.
Brock Brand Clothing on Instagram. Patey__Pat on Instagram is my handle. My boy Trey Decals.
Trey Decals and Brock.
I'm okay with it. I am okay.
As long as they can find the product and pay for the product, that's all. Custom decal, custom pads, and you're the first person that comes up. So that's all that matters. But the people that have been rocking with us, man, y'all know the motto: don't get ready, stay ready. Peace.